background.
All right, we're recording, so don't say anything bad.
Okay.
Very
funny, Karen. Very funny, Karen.
I know.
Oh,
Where's
wait,
Dale?
yeah.
Dale, come up to the screen. I caught a glimpse of your shirt. Does it say hangry?
Yes.
Let us see it. Stand up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, you're too far away.
My job's on.
Come
Come
closer.
closer. All right. Well, when you were playing with the gizmo, I saw it and I thought, does that really say angry? That's
My mom
great.
got it for me.
Daddy.
I love it.
That is
That is
my mom got
such
it
a
for me.
thing. It is such a thing. Hungry makes you a little cranky and angry.
Aaron, you know what else the good news was?
What else?
You know how I work at Roach Brothers in Acton, right?
Yeah.
I got good news. Tomorrow staff is going to get me 2 flower bouquets for free. I won it in the mail.
You won it?
Right. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Speaking of flowers and bouquets, why don't we move on? Let me mute everybody and we can see what Carolee is up to. And you know how it goes. We can talk and share, but Carolee's got a lot of stuff she wants us to look at. Let me unmute you.
We'll try to have time to share. I try not to pack us too full today because I always seem to have more to show than I have time. And I was saying to Steve, and it was kind of funny, I was saying, all these things that really get me very excited, I'm not sure anybody else really is excited as I am. But
oh, come on, guys, show a thumbs up if you're excited about all these things, because I know I am.
I just think that there's so much in nature to watch and to see happen. I just, I think it's the way to take a little time, for me anyway, every day to be grateful for all the things and the nature and the beauty and the things we have that are might be really small things, but they're really kind of special because that's the environment around us that sustains us so much. So anyway, those kinds of things get me very excited. But as you might have seen, if you saw the somebody's beeping at me, hold on. If you saw the newsletter that I'm going to share my screen. We will get started, but we can share things and hopefully we'll have some time at the end. If you saw, my morning glory did blossom for us, for me. And it's just an amazing color blue. So all those buds that I was waiting to have blossom finally started to come out. So I've got tons of pictures. I did not put them all on here, but I probably have 50 pictures of morning glories because they're just so pretty. But I do.
Hey, Carolee.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you that this morning when I went out, let me show you. Let me see. I don't know if people can see this.
Can we highlight your screen?
But we can. I don't think we can highlight. But if you, oh yeah, maybe. Well, anyway,
Look
it's
how
got
pretty.
pink
stripes
on it instead of the white,
right?
Which just came out this morning.
Isn't that beautiful? I wish I could highlight that.
Did I lose everybody?
Oh, no, we see you.
Okay, because my computer's doing that weird thing again.
Oh,
anyway.
Yeah. No, that was beautiful.
Anyway, those are from Emma.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. There it
saying
is.
my connection is unstable. Anyway,
well, we can
I
see
just wanted
you.
you to see
We can
different
see you.
ones.
And we can see it. Sometimes those, if you look at mine, that it sort of makes a star. You see those skinny star arms? Well, on Karen's, they're slightly pinkish. And sometimes they look a little bit like a pale purple. They do at different temperatures and different kind of ages of the flower. They do have different colors. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's like 3 of them this morning.
Wow.
So-
And are those the first times that those ones opened, or do you think that they opened yesterday?
I think they just opened yesterday. Yeah.
Yesterday. So they
Yep.
closed up at night and then they
Yep.
open up again at day. So when they're like the second day or so, then they start getting purpley colors. This one I think was like day 1, so it's more blue. But it's interesting how they change. And sometimes you can collect the seeds of those guys, which is one of my favorite things to do, is to collect seeds. So I have a picture here, which I think again is, it's the seeds, they're the seeds of a flower, but I just think it's such a pretty, it's just a cool picture. It's like, I don't know, it's like nature art, but these are, Emma and I have agreed that these are our favorite seeds to collect, because they pop off in your hand when they dry and they open up like this, they pop off in your hand. But I wondered if anybody can just try to imagine what the flower looks like that these seeds come from. Just try to imagine in your head what the flower might look like, and I'll show you. They look like, that's the flower that makes the seeds. And they're called cosmos. And they come in yellow and orange are the ones I have, but some people have them in pink and red and white. It's a little different. But seed collecting is one of the things that I really enjoy doing. I think last Outback I was collecting parsley and dill seeds. And now it's really the time for flowers, to collect some flower seeds that I will save and plant next spring. So that's
Carolee,
kind
how
of,
do you save them?
well, like you saw, like the picture I showed, you kind of have to wait. A lot of them, you need to wait for them to really dry. So there's a period of time you have to watch them and get them when they're, instead of letting them fall to the ground, which they will do, you want to just collect them and bring them in, and you want to keep them I keep them in an open cup or a paper envelope and put them in a cool, dark place in the basement or something, not where they'll get damp or wet, because then they'll start to grow, and you don't want them to freeze. I have left mine on the porch sometimes, and then they freeze and then they're no good. So
Okay, that's what I was wondering, where you put
yeah.
them.
You can, like a dark closet, a basement, where a cool place, like your back door, near your back door. I have shelves near my back door. You don't want them to be hot and warm in the house, but you want them to not freeze either. So some seeds need to freeze. Some seeds that come back every year that seed themselves, some seeds will reseed, and they need to go through a cold period. Some of them don't. So if these ones were to drop off, like these seeds drop off in my garden, they won't come back on their own next year. It's just too cold in the winter time. So that's one of the activities that I do right now. I look for seeds, mostly just of the things I like, and I collect them. But that's like entertainment to me. So, but then I was thinking though, when we're kind of talking about getting ready for the winter, it's fall and things are gradually getting colder. And I don't know what you guys think about doing in getting ready for the winter, but I have somebody in my backyard who's getting ready for winter. And I wonder if you can tell me if you think you know what's happening here. Can you see who that is? Anybody? Anybody tell who that is?
I see
What do you think,
Patty.
Brian? Patty, what do you
Cat.
think, Patty?
It's a cat. It's a cat.
Chris, hold on. I just called him Patty.
What do you think, Patty?
That's his chicken?
That's one of my chickens. That's Nomi. What happened to her?
She lost her feathers
She lost her feathers. Why did she lose her feathers?
because when the winter comes and the fall comes, you lose them because it gets colder.
It does get colder, but they lose them. Well, one day, the kids that I take care of, I help them do schoolwork from remotely. I heard them in the backyard yelling. And they were saying, Carolee, Nomi's lost all her feathers.
Hey,
They
Carolee,
said- Yeah,
about those flowers. My mom has those flowers.
yeah, in yellow,
Yep.
yellow and orange. Yeah, they're pretty. Those are
And then
cute.
and then the blue ones too.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. She's got lots of flowers too. They're fun.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, they were yelling at me that Nomi lost all her feathers. So I went running out and look at the poor bird. She looks like she's getting ready for Thanksgiving. But she's been plucked. So they said she shook, like they ruffled their feathers, you know, and they stretched their wings. When she did that, her feathers all fell out all at once and they were left all over the place. Look at them. That's in her pen. And I read that some chickens that happens, they lose them all at once. Now my other chickens just lose them a little at a time, but it's something that happens once a year. And it's usually in the fall time. And it's called molting. And they lose a lot of their feathers. She happened to lose a whole bunch at once. And then they start to grow them back. And if you can see those spots that used to be just like tiny little, like nothing on her wings and her back, now have long, like sticks. They're like the quills.
Oh, yeah.
You know how you have I meant to get a feather. You have that it's like a fingernail part at the end of the feather that sticks into the bird, and those start to grow. Right as soon as she loses her feathers. So it's like getting a new coat. It's like if you were to go I know I got to go pull my winter coat out of the closet and check and see if I need to get a new one or if it's going to be okay. But these guys lose their old feathers and they get a whole batch of new feathers. And she'll lose them all over.
And dogs lose their fur too. Dogs lose
their fur. Yeah, sometimes they grow a winter coat and then it all sheds in the springtime. Right. Everybody gets adjusted to the weather. So then on the next picture, I think I show a close-up to see if you can see, those are the quills and they get longer. I don't know, I call them pins, but they're like little tubes. I don't know if you can see them. I don't know if my clicker will click for me and help me out here. Oh, what did I do? I went back to the other place. But if on the ends of those little tubes,
Yeah, we can see them.
I'll try. There's Nomi saying hi. But at the end of those little white tubes, if you look, like up near the top corner, it's like a little paintbrush coming out of the end of them. You see that?
Yeah.
They're like little, here we go.
Yeah.
Little, here we go. Like right here. This is a good one. See that? Like,
Oh, yeah.
right? And then at the very end, it's like a tip of a paintbrush. And there's some down here. All these little black puffs are tips. They're the tips of the feathers. So the feathers grow through these tubes at the ends of the feather, that part that sticks into the chicken. And as they grow, they just stick out of the end of the tube and they grow into full feathers again. So hopefully before it gets too much colder, she'll have all her feathers back. But she was very much interested in having her picture taken. So I took her picture. She's happy to see you.
It's very cute, Carolee.
Thank you. That's Nomi. We named her after Stephen's aunt. Then I came across something else. A garden discovery. You guys won't believe it. Well, you might believe it because of the summer adventure we had. I think I discovered something else in the garden this fall.
Oh.
What do you think? Does that look familiar to anybody, or what do you think that might be?
Brendan? Want to unmute?
Yeah. I think I remember this. Caterpillar.
That's right. Does it look like the caterpillar we looked at in the summertime?
Not exactly, no.
No, it doesn't. Good for you. That's the right answer.
Yeah,
I don't
money.
know if you could remember the one in the summertime, but it looked like this,
Yeah, I remember that color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? You remember the name of that one, Brendan?
Oh my God. I think
It's
summer's
okay.
been a while ago. I don't.
Yeah, it has. That's okay. That was a monarch.
Oh, I knew that was the M. So
Right. Yep, that was a monarch. So this one is definitely different, right? I
right.
looked this one up. At first, I wasn't sure if this was a good bug or a bad bug, but I looked it up and it's an eastern black swallowtail.
Okay, what is that?
Well, that's a good question. Let's
Yeah,
see what the next
swallowtail.
slide says.
I mean, like,
It's
did
an
it swallow
eastern
something?
black swallowtail. So this is what it looked like when we found it. And I thought for a minute there was something wrong with it because of this white stripe in the middle. But I watched it and we took it in just like the other butterflies. So I'm going to show you a little growth of this caterpillar. Now I have 3 of them. And they're also called parsley worms because they love parsley, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
what they're eating.
I've never
You
seen
see
them.
it?
Really.
See how it's changing? Watch how it's changing. That it's starting to look different and it's bigger.
Right.
It's just changing like crazy.
Oh, that's a cute little thing, really.
And that's on parsley.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I had 3 of them on one plant. I had 3 of them all on one plant.
Oh my God. Whoa, is that really hard though?
That's on parsley. That was one caterpillar there and there's another one back there. And it was curling all around.
Oh my God. How hard is
So
that?
Huh?
How hard is that really to keep 3?
Well, no, luckily parsley was good and healthy and I kept bringing in bunches of parsley.
Oh
But
my God.
I had 3 worries. I wonder if you guys might have thought the same thing. I
Yeah,
found
yeah.
the boys and I found these caterpillars in the middle of September. Now, when we did the monarch butterflies, that was in the summertime. So I was a little bit worried. I had some questions. I had some concerns. One of them right away was, but these caterpillars are just starting and it's already September. And it takes, as we remember, it takes about 4 weeks for a caterpillar to become a butterfly. And then I thought that they don't have time to become butterflies and fly to a warmer place. So why are they doing this? I was kind of saying, hey, caterpillars, you're not supposed to be doing this. And then, so what are they going to do during the winter if they can't, get to be butterflies and go wherever it's warm? What are they going to do? And the only thing I know how to do, I went to Google and read about it and read about the easterns, realized what kind of butterfly they were going to be, and realized they were eastern swallowtails. So I discovered that they have 2 sets of eggs every year, one in the summer, like the monarch, and then one in the fall. And the eggs in the fall become butterflies and chrysalis, and they winter over. And you know what that made me think? It made me think about how I winter over. I winter over by staying inside and doing puzzles and not going out very often. But they will winter over. So what I had to do at that point, I realized that they were going to be with me for the winter. So I made them a cage and I watched them, and they started to climb and look for places to do chrysalis. This guy climbed up one of the dowels in the corner. This one never left the parsley. This one, I put a stick in the box. He found a spot on the stick. And the first one to chrysalis was the one on the parsley. Now, doesn't that look different?
Mhm.
That's amazing. And I wonder if you guys noticed anything about the color of the chrysalis.
Well, it looks just like the parsley.
Yeah, it's the same. It's kind of, what do they call that? Camouflage. So it's,
Yeah.
I wondered if maybe it does that because it's trying to hide for the winter. My only worry is the parsley's going to die, and I don't know how to, I didn't know what to do with the chrysalis. But anyway, the next one to chrysalis was the one that climbed the dowel up, and you can't really see it, but he's way up in the corner. I pushed the top of the box away from his head because I didn't want him to squish himself. So I knew that I was going to have to move him. And then this is the one that found his spot on the stick. And that little blob at the end, if you remember with the monarch, then when they turn into chrysalis, they wiggle out of their skin. And underneath their skin is this chrysalis. And so that's the skin hadn't quite dropped off yet. But you can't notice it too much in this picture. In some of the others you did, but they create what they call a harness to attach themselves to wherever they're going to hang. And I don't know if you can see, there's a little string right here.
Oh, yeah,
Just
very
a thin,
light.
I think one of the pictures has it, very light. And their little tip of their tail does what a monarch does, which is creates a little button and sticks itself to the button. So it's anchored at the little pointy tail. And then it has a harness that hangs it away from wherever it's going. So this is the green one. I finally cut it off of the parsley and attached it to this stick with some twist ties. And then I think I might have to secure that up a little bit because it's hanging a little.
But you can
And then the
definitely
next-
see the strings hanging down.
That's right. Yeah, that's a
You can
good one
see
of the
those.
string. What they do is they create it just like sticky stuff, and they stick it to whatever they're going to attach to. And then they actually wrap it behind themselves and up on the other side. So this is really like a harness. It's like a hammock. They're hanging in the hammock. It's not, as I understand it, it's not stuck to them. They're just hanging in that sort of loop. Their tail is connected, but they're just hanging in that loop. And this is the one that was on the dowel. I had Stephen help me cut the tip of the dowel off. And then I fastened that to the stick so that when he finally emerges, he will have lots of room. I don't know how they drop out of their chrysalis, and I didn't want him to bump into the top of the box. So I moved him. And that's the one that secured itself on the stick. And he looks like he's far away. He looks more like he's falling. He worries me, but I'll put him up. What I'm going to do is put them in the box, keep them in their box, and put them on the porch. The instructions said a 3-season porch would be good so that they still get cold, because their bodies inside the chrysalis, they're sort of like the fluid or the blood in their bodies actually creates like antifreeze, like in a car, so that it won't freeze. So that they create that while it gets cold. And then when it starts to warm up in April, it changes back again. And then hopefully they'll emerge. So they're home on my porch until spring.
That's a long time for them to
It is.
be
It is. And I read
creating.
about it, and I was amazed that they just will hang out there that long. But the place that I read about a woman who does this, it's way up like in like Minnesota, where it's really cold. So I guess this happens, and I guess it works. And then does anybody want to try to imagine what the butterfly will look like if it works in the spring? We won't know for sure. I don't know if anybody's got a guess. I'll just
Dan,
it's hard to guess. What colors do you think it might be? It's called an eastern black swallowtail.
So Carolee, will it change? Like, will it become an adult like after winter's over? Because it's hard to tell. And I got a joke for you, Carolee.
Okay,
Which animal has a long body?
long body? I don't know.
A caterpillar.
A caterpillar. Very good, Dan.
You're a funny one, Dan.
Oh, boy.
I try to be funny sometimes.
You do a good job. You do a very good job. This, to answer your first question, good joke. Thank you. To answer your first question, it is supposed to emerge when it warms up and becomes, they must know somehow, animals seem to know these things, and insects be able to sense the seasons, and they must know when it's going to be warm enough and safe to emerge at a time when they can stay warm and find food. So I'm hoping that works. It's going to be kind of a mystery, but we'll wait and see. And this is what I'll show you what it's going to look like, what it should look like, what we hope it's going to look like.
Ooh.
Isn't that pretty? So it's got the black, and I think that, see the points on the tail, I think they refer to that as a swallowtail. Because no swallows, the bird swallows have long pointy tails. So hopefully in the spring, that's what we'll find. I'll have to post it on Facebook or something if it works.
Well, we might still be doing Outback in the
Well,
spring,
we could
Carolee.
be coming back, and you can help me plant my garden. Actually, I have some
beauty.
Yeah, isn't that pretty? And I don't know if some of you remember, Emma posted a butterfly on Facebook back in the summer. She was out babysitting at Tyler's house, and the butterfly that landed on her computer was one of these butterflies. So I don't think they're as endangered like the monarch, because they can winter over, but they are very pretty. And I was just excited to see if maybe we can get one to emerge here. So that's what I have so far. Anybody got any thoughts on winter, how they winter over? I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay.
And see if anybody,
I think Chris has a question or
or questions about what we looked at. Yeah, anything?
Do they live all winter? Did any of them live?
Those yeah, those ones I showed you, Chris, the chrysalis, they will live all winter just like that. I read someone who said that she found one in her yard and realized what it was and left it. So they're supposed to be able to survive like that in their chrysalis all winter out. They probably find a safe place under, big branches or tucked away in bushes where they won't get blown or hit by things that might be falling, or I imagine some of them probably don't make it because it's dangerous, but I think that's how they survive. So yes, Chris, they should warm up in the spring, and then they'll come back, and that's when they turn into the butterfly.
Where will they live in the winter? Where will they live?
Well, these ones that I showed you will live on my porch.
Oh, that's
very. Yeah, but the ones that we didn't find, I imagine there are some others out there that will be on trees, probably. They seem to like trees, or maybe even the woman that I read a story about, hers was kind of hanging underneath her porch railing. So it was under her rail, probably tucked away where they won't get too wet or snow covered. So they have to be creative and find places to hide.
Thanks, Chris.
Welcome.
So, Carolee.
Yeah.
You gonna tell them what you found when we were doing the Patty's Road Race on Saturday?
You want me to?
Yeah.
Well, we
So-
were walking.
Carolee's like an animal gardening nature whisperer. So just listen.
Yes, she is.
Yes. Well, we were doing our hike, our Patty's walk / hike. And I don't know why we were walking and we went by a really nice pine forest. And I looked down and there on the ground, it caught my eye, was one of our friends. I'll show you this picture. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
See that? That look familiar?
Yes,
I
that looks
found-
familiar to me.
That's one of our butterflies. Well, not one of our butterflies,
Me
but
too.
it was a monarch butterfly. And I thought it was dead because it wasn't moving and it was laying on its back. So I just picked it up. I figured I didn't want anybody to step on it. So I picked it up and I held it in my hand. And it didn't take too long before it started to move and it started to grab onto my finger. And then it stayed with me all afternoon and it sat on the sleeve of my jacket. And I brought it home and I put it on my flowers. And I think it was pretty happy there. So it's too trying to see, there's no better picture. I didn't take too many pictures of it. The light's not good in here, but it's really too cold for it to fly anywhere. And it wasn't really flying. I think it was just generally too cold. So my feeling was that it probably wasn't going to live much longer. So I put it on my marigolds out front so that it could be on flowers. And
Well, you are the
That's what it
nature
is.
whisperer.
but it was
Siri's in
kind
the house.
what?
Carolee, Siri's in the house.
Siri's in the house.
Siri's
Oh,
in the
man.
house.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Let's hear it for Siri. Yeah. Hey Siri, what's going on, girl? Oh, unmute.
There we go.
There you go. Hi there.
Hi.
Hey, look what you got on. You look
Yeah.
like you belong.
Official.
Well, it's nice of you to be able to join us, Siri. I know we've had some people asking when we were going to see you again. And
Yeah, we it's been pretty rainy here the past couple of days, which is a good thing for all of our pastures, but trying to get everything ready for winter now.
well, that's what we've been talking about too. What things do to get ready for winter. So that's a perfect segue to see what you've been doing to get ready for winter, or getting your sheep ready for winter.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is obviously, just like all the other plants out there, our pastures stop growing. So we're getting ready to kind of transition their diet from fresh pasture, fresh grass to hay, which I think I mentioned this summer. And we've actually started feeding it. So here's some of the fresh hay that they're eating now, because if you can see behind me, there's not a lot of grass left.
Yeah.
So that's been our biggest job, is figuring out how much hay we need and how we're going to store it, because we don't have a ton of space to keep it out of the weather.
Wow. So are they all out in pasture now still, or are they in, or where do they stay during the winter?
Yeah, so right now there's a couple here with me way out back. They're kind of nervous of the phone. So they're still on pasture. You know, it's not too cold. It's not snowing yet. So they're okay out here. There's just no feed left that's growing.
Okay.
But once it gets really wintry, once the temperatures drop and we might get ready for snow to come, everyone will move into the barn. And that's where everyone will stay until lambing begins. So hopefully everyone's going to be pregnant by the time that we bring them to the barn. And then over the winter, everyone will have their lambs. So it's a nice transition from pastures and everyone's kind of low maintenance. We're all just hanging out into the barn where they might need a little bit more care once babies start arriving.
Oh,
That sounds a little bit like I was saying, wintering over, like getting inside and just hanging out.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what the sheep do too.
Yeah. So they will go, so will you, I know you have some sheep on other pastures or even in Connecticut. Do they all come back to Vermont or just what you have there?
So yeah, it's kind of complicated, but I mentioned how all the moms are going to be in the barn where they can, you know, it's a good, safe, warm place for them to have their babies. So those sheep kind of luck out. All of our mom sheep get to live in the barn for the winter.
Well, that's only right.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Moms deserve it.
Yes.
And so they'll all get to go in the barn and everyone else. So the ones who are left are the young sheep who they're not old enough to have babies yet, and all of the rams, which are the males. They'll live, most of them will go to our spot in Connecticut. And they have some shelter, they can get out of the snow, but they don't have the big, comfy, dry barn like the moms get.
Okay. Cool.
How long does it take them from, you know, time of conception to when they have the baby? Like human is 9 months. How long?
Yep. So sheep's, we call it gestation period, is 5 months.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're expecting lambs probably February, March, and April.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I know that you sometimes help the moms when they're having their little babies.
Yep. So that's why the barn is really nice, because just like humans, babies can make their arrival at any hour. So if the moms start to have their babies at midnight, we can get them in the barn where there's light and kind of actually see what we're doing. Because if we're out on pasture in the middle of the night, there's no lights out here.
And it's pretty cold.
Yep, it gets pretty cold, especially when the wind comes through the valley here.
I would imagine being dry is a big important too when you're having lambs.
Yeah. Yep. If anyone has ever, went outside maybe in the wintertime after you shower, I know my head and my body gets so cold because I still feel kind of wet from that shower. So when babies are born, they're still wet. So it's really, really important that we get them dried off really fast. The barn helps with that too.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So you just lots of work to do so you can kind of relax a little. Or do you relax? Maybe you don't relax at all.
It's pretty calm here once pastures are done growing until lambing starts. So like December, January, I kind of get that holiday break where not a lot's going on the farm.
Cool.
Well, you still have to feed them.
Yeah, we still feed them every day, but there's just less day to day. You know, we don't have to move pastures. We don't have to check on lambs yet. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I do know that Siri, I don't know if you guys probably don't know this, but Siri has something exciting coming up in November.
Yes.
It's not really a fair. It's an exhibit, maybe? What would you call it, Siri?
Yeah. So we're calling the event a fiber festival. So normally, just like all the shows that I would be going to if they weren't canceled, there's some fiber festivals that are specifically designed for people like myself to bring our sheep and bring our wool and our yarn and all of those really special things that we make to sell to people who want to use them. So all of those festivals have also been canceled, but there's some really awesome people who have put together these online fiber festivals. So I'll be doing my first one. I'm a little bit nervous. In November, I'll be going on, this one's on Instagram. So I'll be selling my yarn there from our farm.
Cool. So you won't have to,
Awesome.
you won't actually have to travel, but you'll be posting and
Yeah.
selling and cool.
Yep.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Thanks.
And Siri, last week in our weekly newsletter, we highlighted you and your yarn. So some of the people that are on today may have seen that and seen how beautiful that yarn is from your beautiful sheep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was so impressed. I got some and it's like, this is real yarn. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you can see these sheep just with their normal wool on their backs, and then suddenly I have a skein of yarn in my hand. It's pretty magical almost.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, when my hat is finished, I'll wear it and show you.
Should we open and see, use time, Siri, if anybody has questions?
Yeah, yep.
I think Brian Given had his hand up.
Okay.
Yes, that's a question that I mentioned before the class started about the baby gorilla.
Oh, you want to tell Siri?
Yep, Franklin Park Zoo recently had a baby male gorilla born.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and it was on this morning on Fox 25 News.
You're going to have to look up, Brian. Look up the weight, Brian. Tell us how much it weighed.
I can check right now. I'm on the website.
That's okay.
Well, while you're looking, Dan O'Donnell had a question too.
Hi, Siri. It's good to see you. So I have two questions for you. One, how can you tell me what the process is for having a lamb when they have their babies? And second of all, can you let us know how the fair or whatever you're doing do on Facebook?
Yeah. So, I don't know what the best way would be to share about the Fiber Festival. Carolee, do you have any ideas?
Well, is it just on Instagram?
There's a Facebook page. So the sale is going to be on Instagram, but there's a way to look at the festival on Facebook. So I could
I don't know if we can share that on our Facebook page, Karen. Is that
sure
we could do? Okay, sure. So we'll look for that, and Emma will help me share it on the group page.
I got the update, Carolee.
So watch for the group Facebook for a little bit about the festival.
Okay, Carolee, I'll do that.
Okay.
And
I got the ounces. I just
wait a minute, Brian. Hold on. Okay. Siri was another question from Dan.
Yeah, so about lambing, the whole process from start to finish can take a long time, just like humans. Some mom can go into labor and it can last many, many hours. But the actual process where I usually step in to help only takes about an hour or so. So if the lamb is really big, or if the mom is really tired, because it's a really tough job, then I can help pull that lamb out. Once the lamb's pulled out and it's healthy and kind of adjusted to the world, then I'll make sure that its face is clean so it can breathe, and I'll make sure it gets its first sips of milk. That's the most important thing that I can do, because that milk from their mom is like almost like medicine. It has antibodies in it, so it helps keep those lambs safe when they start to encounter all the germs in the world now that they're outside of their mom's body and exposed to all that stuff. So that's the biggest thing I do, is I make sure they get some milk from mom, And then I'll usually leave them alone for a half an hour or an hour and kind of let them figure things out. Most of our sheep are really good moms and they'll take care of things on their own. But I check them every half hour or hour for another half of a day or a whole day sometimes, and just make sure that that lamb is getting up and eating and nothing's going wrong there.
Excellent. Thanks, Siri. Thanks, Dan, for the question. That was great. Christopher, how about Christopher Brinton? Brian, we'll get to you in a minute. Christopher, do you have a question?
Yeah. Do gorillas live where at your place? Do gorillas?
No, Brian.
I'm here.
No, Brian was talking about gorillas at the Franklin Park Zoo, Christopher.
By the way, does your lambs live near you?
Yeah, so I'm in a pasture right now, but right there is the driveway to my house. So I get to make a quick little walk over to work every morning. Live right here on the farm with the sheep.
What place are you living here right now? What state are you living here in this place?
We're in Vermont.
Vermont.
Siri has a new name for her farm, or kind of new, right? Well,
yeah.
These guys don't, I don't know if you guys know that she had a different name before. So maybe I'm dating myself. I don't know.
Yeah, that feels like a long time ago now, but yeah, so we kind of expanded and grew the farm, and you guys know that I shear sheep, so that's also a part of our business. And we changed our old farm name, and now we're Yankee Rock Farm. So that's we're coming up on almost a year anniversary since that switch.
Wow. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Christopher. Good question.
My pleasure.
Keith, how about a quick question, Keith? Keith, you want to unmute and ask the question?
Hi,
Hi.
Hi.
how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Where do you get that sweatshirt?
The sweatshirt. Oh, why are you jealous? Isn't it a very nice sweatshirt?
I need to get one of those. I need to get
Not one of those.
I need to get one of those.
I'll tell you where to get one.
Me too, Keith. Me too.
No, what? That's a question. I saw the animal right in that box there.
Oh, behind me?
Yeah,
Yep.
behind you.
Well, do you have a question about
what
her?
the sheep are? What the name of the sheep?
Oh, okay, the name. So this, she's kind of an old girl. That's why she's still hanging out with me. Her name is Lacey.
Lacey. What the other one?
So behind me, way back there, there's Kevin. Kevin's the breeding group. There's Liberty and Xena.
How far did you live?
What was that?
How far did you live?
How far away? Oh, she lives. Go ahead, Siri.
How far of a walk? So let's see if I can make this look any clearer.
I'll tell you something, Keith. I'll tell you one thing, Keith. It's not real close because she has to carry water buckets to her sheep. So when you carry in water buckets, it's far, but you can see one place to the other.
Yeah, so my barn is hiding. You can see the silos. My barn's hiding behind the trees, and my driveway is right there. So it's a short walk unless you're carrying water buckets.
Yeah. That's right. And then,
yeah.
How about one more question and then Brian can tell us about the gorilla. How about Patty? You got something, Patty?
I want to know how your chicken's going.
Oh, how are your chickens?
Chickens? And that's a good question. So they are, they have gotten really big.
Oh,
We actually had some issues with our roosters. They got really mean, which has never happened to me before. But yeah, we had a couple roosters. They got really big and they got really mean. They were fighting with each other and they were picking on the hens. And so we did end up butchering all except for one of them. And let me tell you, they are very tasty.
wow.
Siri does everything.
Another thing, how long did you did your wool, like the wool with the sweaters things you made?
So we didn't make any sweaters. We made yarn. But the yarn,
How long did you do that for?
well, it's a pretty long process to make wool into yarn. It usually takes about 8 months because that wool has to go to a mill, someone who has special equipment, and they wash it and they spin it and brush it out. It's a pretty long process.
Yeah, that's wow, that's a big job.
Yeah, it is.
Well, as you saw before, Patty,
Yeah.
Siri got the fleece all ready and she picked it, so it was pretty clean, and then she had to
I
pack
saw
it
in
up.
the newsletter, yeah.
Then she had to send it, and then she had to wait. So now
Yeah.
she's got the yarn back and now she can sell it.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks.
What are you gonna
Patty.
show us?
Sanaz had a thumb up. Sanaz, let's hear from you. Can you unmute Sanaz? There you go.
I did. Hi.
I got a quick question for Siri. I think she's probably got to go.
Yes.
I've just got a couple of sheep that came out, so I'm trying to get them across the road.
Oh,
I
go
see.
ahead.
I just had one question that when you were talking about the babies and the baby sheep that they come out, and you were saying that you were going to clean, like when you clean their face, the baby's face. I wanted to see, well, I wanted to know, like, how do you do that?
How do I clean their face off and stuff?
Yeah.
So I have a very large bucket of barn towels. So these are towels that we don't use at home. They're just for the barn. And it's as simple as that. I just use a towel to kind of wipe their face off because they got a bunch being born. It's not really sticky. It's not like stuck on them. You just have to clean it off to make sure that their nose and their mouth is, their nose and mouth is cleaned off so they can breathe right.
Oh, okay.
Good question, Sanaz. Thank you. Good question. All right, Brian, why don't you tell us, did you find out about the gorilla?
Yes, he was 6 pounds, 4 ounces.
Wow.
Tiny.
But he's usually smaller than that because he was a
I've
big
had
boy.
kids bigger than that. That just doesn't seem
I know.
right.
I was gonna say, no, Emma was bigger than that.
But he was a
And I
healthy,
know Siri was.
but he was a healthy jumping boy.
Thank
And
you,
he's the
Brian.
first, and he's the first male gorilla ever born.
That's good news. Thanks so much.
Yep.
And one more thing, Siri, before you go. Since when has the roosters become so mean?
When did they become mean?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly when. They just, as they got older, they got more mature. And that happens a lot with livestock. The males kind of get mean. and it's something we try to avoid, but sometimes it just happens. So they were probably 5 months old.
Somebody's got something to say.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's so good that Siri was able to jump on and see us.
Yay.
What a great surprise. Thank you, Siri.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Bye, Sari.
Look at that.
Hi, Siri. It was good to see you.
Bye, Sari.
Bye, Siri. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice.
She can zoom and herd sheep at the same time.
I know.
She
She's
is skilled.
amazing.
She is skilled. That was great.
I
Amazing.
love the butterfly, Carolee.
Yeah, we'll see on that butterfly, huh? We'll have to keep an eye out. I've got to,
It was
My-
gorgeous, beautiful butterfly.
yeah, it is beautiful.
I
Well,
love butterflies. Those are my favorites.
my task for right now is to make sure the cats don't play with the chrysalis that are
I
hanging
know.
on the twig. The
See
tick,
about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I can see them batting the chrysalis around thinking it's a
I
toy.
know.
Very good, you guys.
Well, Carolee, as always, what a great fun adventure being outside with you and
Yes.
I love-
Siri and just learning so
I
much
love-
about nature.
I
Yeah.
love sharing and
Yeah.
talking
Good job,
about things.
Carolee.
It was
Yeah,
amazing.
Jen.
Thank you.
Maybe
Bye,
we should
everyone.
Maybe we should have a question answer time or a question and discovery time sometime.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause I bet you guys have questions or
phone.
ideas
I do.
or
I
thoughts
do.
about
There's anything new?
Look at Adam.
I love your background, Adam.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
It
great.
was
Perfect.
good to see you guys at Zumba.
All
Yeah,
right. Thanks,
2 o'clock
everybody.
Zumba.
Thanks,
See you guys
See you
later.
2 o'clock.
Bye.
Bye,
Carolee. 2
Broadway.
o'clock.
Good morning, guys.
Thanks.
I'll see you afternoon.
All right.
Thanks, you guys.
Hey guys, see you.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Nina.
Hey, Karen.
Yes,
Yeah,
Chris.
ladies.
Hey,
Yeah.
Karen.
Yes, Keith.
What the thing of the what thing down tonight? What?
Tonight is Broadway.
What is this? Broadway, huh?
Broadway. Yep.
I see it at 2 o'clock.
I think it's
I'll
my
see you
fair
at 2
lady.
o'clock. Yep.
2 o'clock Zumba.
Uva.
Yep. Bye.
Be
Bye.
ready. Bye, Keith.
Oh, look who's here. Majesty and Ruthie. What are you doing, Ben?
Ben, what's up? What are you looking at up there? What's up there?
You're muted. We can't hear you.
Maybe he doesn't know he's on.
Maybe. Ben,
Yeah.
what are you looking at?
Well, it turns out that our manager's having a birthday today.
Oh, it
Oh,
looked like you were looking at something flying above you.
I thought you had a ceiling leak or something.
Yeah, it's good here. We're having a birthday for our house manager,
Oh,
Mary
nice.
Beth?
and that's probably gonna go into our Zumba.
That's okay.
That's
Is it
okay.
Mary Beth's birthday?
Yeah,
Oh,
Well,
nice.
tell her we said happy birthday.
I will. And we might not do Zumba, but we're trying to make it for Broadway.
Cool.
Oh, very good.
All right. See you later.
Yep.
Bye, Ben.
And Ruth.
Everything.
Get a nice little nap there, Ruth?
No. Did you sleep through my butterfly? Oh,
There it is.